The difference between this light bulb and this light bulb can be the difference between a good night's rest and a bad night's rest. The difference between losing weight and struggling to lose weight. This is because the light that you're exposed to every single day can either supercharge your body and your day or drain it completely. In this video, I'm going to explore the different types of light, red, blue, infrared, the impact that it has on your health, and share a few practical tips to help you create a healthier, more holistic environment. When it comes to light, light isn't just about vision. Light is energy and information. Everything in the universe is energy and information. So if you want to understand the nature of reality, you have to understand energy and information. You have to start to think in terms of energy and information. Now, light influences your circadian rhythm, which controls sleep, hormone production, and your metabolism, basically everything in your body. There's a part of your brain here called the suprachiasmatic nuclei, and it's basically like the master clock. It controls all the different clocks within your body, when to switch different things off and on. It will control sleep and wake cycles, body temperature, hormones, when to eat, when to drink, and sexual behavior. And light controls the suprachiasmatic nuclei. Every cell in your body has something called melanopsin, which can receive light. So every part of your body can receive light. Right now, because my arms are exposed and there's a screen here, this part of my body is actually receiving the light from the screen. The master clock, the suprachiasmatic nuclei that regulates all the functions in your body, is controlled by light. Primarily. It's also controlled by food, but that's for another topic. So light influences every single function in your body. When you want to lose fat or build muscle or have a good night's rest or balance your mood, you have to learn to regulate your hormones. You have to balance out your hormones. And in order to do that, you have to have healthy, cyclical circadian rhythms, which means that the light that you're exposed to on a day-to-day basis is extremely important for not just getting a good night's sleep, but regulating every single function within your body. Different types of light and their impacts in the body. When we speak about the different types of light, we're talking about the different frequencies, and a different frequency of light is a different color. So blue light is a very specific frequency, a very specific wavelength. It's actually a shorter wavelength, and it primarily comes from the sun, but also comes from screens and technology. Anytime you're on a laptop or a cell phone, you're receiving blue light. Now, what blue light does is it boosts wakefulness, it boosts alertness, it makes you more awake, because in the morning when the sun is rising, you're primarily getting blues and greens. And these light colors, these frequencies, are telling your body that it's not nighttime anymore, that it's daytime, which makes sense. So what happens when you receive blue light is your body starts to elevate cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone, but it's actually the wakefulness, alertfulness, get moving hormone. So cortisol is not bad. Nothing is really good or bad. It just depends on how much, how often, and the timing of it. And that goes for everything in life. So it's good to get blue light in the morning because it'll wake you up. It'll suppress melatonin, the sleepfulness hormone, and boost cortisol, the stress and wakefulness hormone. The problem with blue light is that because it's emitted primarily by screens, we are now exposed to blue light at a time we wouldn't normally be exposed to it, i.e. once the sun has gone down. So once the sun has gone down, biologically, evolutionarily, you would never normally receive blue light. You would not be receiving the signals for wakefulness once the sun is set. Fire is orange and reds, which is actually the colors for the evening. There's a reason why all the light bulbs in my house are red, because those colors are natural for once the sun has gone down. They're very restful for the body. So what's happening when you expose yourself to blue light after the sun has gone down, you're telling your body that it's not nighttime, it's daytime. So now you're starting to mess with your hormones. You're messing with your circadian rhythms. Once you mess with your hormones, you mess with everything. Hormones are like a spider web. You pull on one side of it and the whole thing is going to start to move. It's also very straining for the eye. You see, light from a screen is very different from light from the sun, because when you're in the sun, sunlight is actually never constant. It's always fluctuating every single second. And that minute-to-minute fluctuations of sunlight is telling your body very different things. So full spectrum sunlight is very healthy and very natural for your body. It's what your body evolved with, and it's what it's used to. Light from a screen does not change in frequency. It doesn't change in color. It's constant frequency, and it's not the full spectrum. So even though I'm getting blue light right now by the screen, I'm not getting the full spectrum of that blue light. So to the body, it's extremely stressful. Anything that's stressful to the body, your body has to spend resources to pay attention to it and to deal with it. Now, there are studies showing that long exposure to blue light not only is damaging for the eye, but it will actually cause your fascia to become dehydrated. So you can dehydrate yourself just by being in blue light. And also, because you wouldn't naturally be exposed to blue light once the sun has gone down, exposing yourself to blue light after the sun has gone down has shown to spike blood sugar levels. So you're dehydrating, you're spiking your blood sugar, you're stressing your body out, you're causing EMF damage, all because of the wrong light at the wrong time. Now, your body is really powerful and amazing, and it can handle this, it can manage it. But how much time are we spending on technology? How much time are we spending behind a screen once the sun has gone down? It's not a wonder every single person in the world is struggling with insomnia and anxiety and depression. This is there are lots of reasons. This is one of them, a big reason to it. I'm going to give you some useful tips on how to counteract this later in the video. The next frequency of light we're going to talk about is red and infrared. So red and infrared are much longer wavelengths, and these are usually found in sunrises, sunsets. You will find infrared light most of the time in the day, which is why infrared light devices are so healing, because it's a very natural light that you would get normally. What infrared does is it stimulates the mitochondria. The mitochondria are like the powerhouses of the cells, but they're not just like the energy production centers of the cell. They are like sensing organisms. They can sense your environment, i.e. they can sense the light in your environment and adjust themselves accordingly, meaning that they can grow stronger and denser and multiply, or they can get less dense and weaker and become less active. Proper light exposure for the mitochondria determines their energy production and their ability to deal with inflammation, your body's ability to deal with inflammation. So what the mitochondria do is they produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This is what your body uses when it separates a phosphate from the adenosine. That's a release of energy. Then it becomes adenosine diphosphate, and that reconnection of the phosphate to the adenosine is also what creates energy. So your body is splitting like chemical reactions, all these different components and compounds, and it's producing energy. This is what your mitochondria are doing all the time, if they get the right stimulus, if they get the right light at the right time. So red light is extremely healing for the body. It will support skin health, skin regeneration, wrinkles, hair loss, muscle damage, muscle repair. It'll help with wound healing, inflammation. Essentially, everything your body does to heal and make itself stronger and better is facilitated through red light, because in full spectrum sunlight, which is what we should all be getting all the time, has a lot of red and infrared light in it. So it's a very abundant light source. They make exclusion zone water, which is how your body hydrates and how your body moves energy. It's how your fascia stays hydrated, and your fascia is how your whole body flows and moves together. So we should all be aiming to get full spectrum sunlight every day. Now, your light diet, your light hygiene is super important. This is why I have swapped out all the light bulbs in my house for red ones. You might think, well, I can't really see much if it's all red, but during the day it's bright. And if your room is so dark, the red light is going to illuminate it anyway. But I can talk about this all day. It's something you really have to experience. Once you've changed the light bulbs in your house to red and you've experienced what that is for a few days, you will struggle to go back to it, because it really does produce a sense of relaxation and rest, particularly in the evenings. And you'll become more sensitive to light, because now you're desensitizing yourself to the overstimulus of light. A lot of light bulbs are LED or fluorescent. These are no good. These are going to stress your body, spike blood sugar, dehydrate you, cause stress, inflammation, all of these different things. Now, it's not to freak you out or make you worried, but it's just to bring awareness to what the light in your environment is doing to your body. Again, your body is amazing, it's beautiful, it's very strong, and it can deal with a lot of these things, but it can't deal with the magnitude that we're exposing it to in the modern world. And if you're struggling with sleep, you're struggling with health, you're struggling with fat loss, these are very easy areas to make huge improvements on. A very quick and simple swap is just buying red light bulbs. It's not a special light bulb, it's just red. That's it. And so while this is not infrared light, this is still red light, which is going to produce a resting and relaxing sensation in the body. It's not going to bring out stress and all these other signals. You can use incandescent light bulbs or dimmer switches or low blue light bulbs. These are all good changes. The next thing you can try is blue light blocking glasses. These are the clear ones that are used during the daytime. So if I've been on the computer for quite a long time, or after, let's say, 2 p.m, if I'm still on the computer quite a lot, then these are the glasses that are up for their clear lenses. They don't have any color to them, but they will block all the blue light. These are the other ones that I use. These have a very dark red lens, and these I will use once the sun has gone down. These will make a world of difference. The first time you put blue light blocking glasses on, feel this big relaxation, this big breath come through you, because it's like you're finally able to get that rest that you've been looking for. If you want discount codes, I will leave some discount codes to different options in the description of this video. I use the clear glasses if I've been on the computer for a long time, or about, maybe 3 hours before sunset, and I'll use the darker ones once the sun is actually setting. You also want to just be mindful of your amount of time on a screen, because it is stressful for the body. It is dehydrating you. It is causing strain on your eyes. So usually an hour before bed, it's really best to just get off as much technology as you can. So when it comes to health of the body, we really like to think of the mitochondria. As I mentioned before, they're not just the powerhouse of the cell, but they're actually like sensing organisms that are sensing their environment and adjusting accordingly. And they primarily use light as their fuel source, and that helps them create exclusion zone water, which is like the fourth phase of water, and that's how your body hydrates. It's how energy moves through the body. So poor light exposure will not give the mitochondria the right signals and nutrients and information that they need to be healthy, dense, strong, and able to create the exclusion zone water. There are other ways to stimulate the mitochondria apart from light, which is cold. This is why a lot of people take cold showers or do the cold plunge. I personally love the cold. I've been doing cold plunges and cold swims and cold showers for the last almost 10 years now. Another trick I do is I fill a bowl of water with ice and I just place my face in it, because once the cold water hits the face, it triggers different reflexes and different nerves and produces a lot of the same benefits. Helps your nervous system start to slow down, switch to the parasympathetic state, which is the rest and digest, which is how your body heals. I will make a video explaining a lot more about the mitochondria, getting into the more details of it, because I personally just find it fascinating, and maybe you will as well. Talking a lot more about exclusion zone water, which is one of the most amazing things that we've discovered in the last few years. So some practical tips on how to mitigate light stress and how to have a balanced circadian rhythm. You really want to get sunlight exposure, and I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but first thing in the morning, you really want natural sunlight. Some people think that, well, I need blue light because it'll wake me up, then I can just use blue light from the phone and that will expose me to the right light. Again, it's not the full spectrum of blue, it's missing all the other frequencies, the other colors, and therefore it's very stressful and abhorrent to your body. So you don't want to stress your body first thing in the morning like that. You want the opposite. So getting outside. You also don't want to look at the sun through a window, because the light, the glass in the window will filter the frequencies and actually change them. It'll amplify some and diminish others, which is not what you want. You want full spectrum, natural light on as much of your naked body as possible, particularly in the eyes. So as close as you can to waking up, head outside and look at the sun. I have a whole video on sun gazing if you want to watch it, and I also talk about grounding and intention and how to combine all three to really supercharge your day. Another big tip would be to avoid sunglasses. Now, once I first started learning about light a long time ago, I came across a doctor who was explaining how to help heal people's eyes, and the one thing he said was never wear sunglasses. And ever since then, I've never worn sunglasses. I used to be very sensitive to sunlight. I'm not anymore. I can go out in a very bright day and it doesn't bother me at all like it used to. The reason being because these are the primary senses for light. Makes sense, that's what vision is. And by wearing sunglasses, you're blocking yourself from receiving all that light, and therefore you're confusing your body. So if balancing your circadian rhythms is the most important thing, which determines your health, your mood, your fat loss, your metabolism, your sleep and wake cycles, your muscle building, your sexual health, then you don't want to interfere with the circadian rhythms at all, which means you don't want to interfere with your light, which means you don't want to wear sunglasses. Now, if you wore them once every few weeks, for just to look cool or something, whatever. But if you're making it a daily habit of wearing sunglasses, you are messing with one of the most important signals in your body. You want to get as much natural sunlight as you can as possible early in the morning, especially throughout the day if you can. You also want to work on building your solar callus, which is how much time you can spend in the sun. As you can see, my skin is very white, so I don't have a very high solar callus, but the amount of time I can spend in the sun now, as opposed to a few years ago, is drastically different. I couldn't even spend more than 20 minutes in the sun without feeling burnt. Whereas now I can spend an hour in the sun easily every single day. The best times is usually in the morning and in the evening, and then if you can throughout the day as well. I like to go for short 5 to 10 minute little walks throughout the day, getting myself exposure to the sun, because again, that will set you up for not just a good night's sleep, but start to balance all the hormones, regulate blood sugar, boost testosterone. There are many benefits to sun apart from just your circadian health. During the day, you also want to try and position yourself close to windows, try to keep that window open for reasons I stated earlier. And then in the evening, try to make a switch to different red light bulbs, to dimmer switches, or just candles if you can. There are different applications you can install. The one that I really like is called f.lux. You can install it on a few devices, but I always install it on my computer, and you set it to your location and it'll actually change the gradients of color of your screen according to the time of day, which is very useful. On my phone, which has got it's not an Android, but it's like an Android operating system, I use something called Blue Shift, and Blue Shift allows me to change the color of the screen according to whatever temperature I desire. It's very handy, and once you start to use it, it'll change your whole life. On the iPhone, you can change settings to really make the screen red, and then set it to a shortcut, which for me is I triple tap the home button and then my whole screen goes red. It's just very handy. So remember that light impacts every aspect of your health, from your energy to your sleep to your hormones to your mood. And small changes really are big changes. It might seem like nothing to spend 1 to 5 minutes in the morning just looking at the sun, but it really will make a huge difference in your life. And once you've felt that difference, it's very hard to go back. Avoid sunglasses as much as you can. Start wearing blue light blocking glasses if you can. And there you have it. Start optimizing your day and your health and your light, and let me know how it's working for you. Give the video a like if you liked it, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you soon.